What's going on guys, it's your boy Mr. Woz, and in today's video I'll be testing another moneymaker from the OSRS Wiki, and this time it's collecting steel plate bodies and alching them. I really hope you enjoy this one, and if you did, make sure you like the video, comment and subscribe to the channel if you're new. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Now before getting to this method, let's see if we can hit 40 likes on this video. I just want to say well done to Zapelez, I hope I said that right, for winning a 100ml giveaway. I have added you in game, so I'm just waiting for you to contact me, or I contact you to collect the GP. By the way, I do apologise for missing a few of your names as there were so many to go through, so I will add you in game and give you a few mil for the inconvenience. Of course, if I don't hear from the winner after a few days, then I probably will do the wheel spin again to give someone else a chance of the 100ml. Now, before getting to this method, I just want to say once again thank you for helping me reach 3,000 subscribers. It's a very nice milestone for me, well for us, and hopefully we can continue growing together. And what I'm going to do is every time I hit 1,000 subscriber milestones, I will add another 100ml on top. So for example, when I hit 4,000 subscribers, it'll be 200ml giveaway, 5,000 subscribers, it'll be 300ml, etc. So Steel Platebodies was released on the 4th of January 2001, and this is a popular free-to-play moneymaker as it can be dangerous for obvious reasons, but you can make a lot of GP doing this method. Now, according to the OSRS Wiki, you can make around 241k and 680 GP profit per hour, which is really good considering there's little to no effort when doing this method. You can also gain up to 15.6k magic XP per hour, which is not too bad either. The wiki also mentions that you need 240 nature runes, which only cost 46.3k, and this is what you need to alch the steel plate bodies. This is more of a medium to high tiered moneymaker as you need some decent requirements and of course a high risk, high reward just because you're in the wilderness. Now before getting to the requirements, I'm going to explain why I'm doing this in the wilderness. These steel plate bodies only have one spawn in Runescape, and that is in the lava maze in 40 to 45 wilderness. It is a bit annoying to get to, especially if you're a free to play player, as you can't use the shortcuts as they are members only, but once you're there you can camp there for at least 30 minutes at a time before you need to bank. So let me quickly show you the best way of getting here. So what you want to do is use the canoe just west of the Grand Exchange, north of the ferry ring, and you will need 57 wood cutting to use the canoe as you're going to the wilderness. The only item you will need is an axe. I would take bronze so you can drop it after using it. So you want to simply left click to chop down the canoe, then you want to click on the log to shape the canoe, then you want to choose whacker, which is at the top, and lastly, once your players push the whacker into the river, click on paddle and choose the top option, which is the wilderness pond, and that will take you halfway towards the lava maze. Once you are at the wilderness, just run northwest towards the amulet icon as you can see on the minimap, which is where you need to cut the first web. Now if you are low level, I would protect from melee as there is knights which can hit fairly often. And once you pass the first web, just run northeast towards the hill giants, which you can see the second web, cut that and then run west and you're at the steel plate body spawn. And like I said, this is really annoying to get to, especially if you're a free to play player, but once you're there, you can be there for a long time. Okay, so for the requirements for this method, you will need 55 magic to cast high alchemy, which is how you make the maximum amount of profit per hour. Next is having a decent attack and defense level, which is handy in case you come across PKers. Having a minimum of 43 prayers so you can protect from melee against the lesser demons, knights, as you're going to make your way there as well, and protection from magic and range from PKers. For the items, you will need a Staff of Fire, which is an item you need along with nature runes to cast high alchemy. The next item you need is a knife or some form of slash weapon to cut the two webs when making your way there. Next, I would take some form of teleport runes when you need to bank. You could take Varrock, Falador, it's entirely up to you, but you need to be at level 20 wilderness before you teleport. Now the next few requirements are optional but can help against PKers. So firstly, taking the best food you can, which is swordfish for free to play players. I know I took lobsters, but for the price you are saving around 190 GP as lobsters only heal 2 hit points less than swordfish, but it is entirely up to you which food you take. And lastly, you can take some energy potions, so if you need to run away from PKers or you just simply want to bank, these potions will save your run energy draining to 0. Now what I like about this method is that you can make a nice amount of GP per hour, which makes this one of the best free to play money makers in old school RuneScape. The XP per hour on the other hand isn't too great, but it's still not too bad if you are a new player. Another reason why I like this method is because it's for free to play players. Now I know this moneymaker seems a bit basic, but I will go through all free to play moneymakers to help all the new and active players out, and hopefully they have helped you out so far. One other reason why I like this method is because you don't need to worry about selling the steel plate bodies in the grand exchange as you're alching them all during the hour. This method is more efficient than the other method on the wiki where you have to collect the steel plate bodies and bank each inventory, even though it is riskier and a lot less GP per hour. So when deciding which method you want to choose, keep in mind it is located deep in the wilderness, so you don't have to take anything with you that you're not prepared to lose. Now one thing about this method is that you have to hop worlds constantly, which can be a little bit tedious but worth it in the end. Another annoying thing about this method is the steel plate bodies respawn every 15 minutes, which is a very long time, but the time you go through all the free to play worlds, the world you started off with should spawn back, so it shouldn't be too bad. Now the steel plate bodies don't really have much use apart from low end training gear which requires level 5 defense to wear and gives some decent defensive stats, until you can upgrade to mithril, adamant and of course rune armour. You can also obtain these from killing various monsters around RuneScape as well. Also a steel plate body is needed for easy and medium tier stash for free to play clue scrolls. Now what makes this profitable is that you can hire out the steel plate bodies for 1200 GP each, and as they would normally sell in a grand exchange for 900 GP each, you're making 107 GP profit per steel plate body that you alch, of course I'm minusing the supplies from the nature runes of course. Now there is some tips and tricks as usual that will help you do this method efficiently, and this will help you make the most amount of GP per hour. So the first tip is changing your NPC and player attack options to hidden. Now this is handy for two things. Firstly is not to get skull tricked by PKers, as they can stand on top of the plate body spawn, and as you won't be concentrating at times you might accidentally skull up and lose everything. The NPC attack option is to not accidentally attack the lizard demon, as they can sometimes stand on top of the plate body spawn. The next tip is to sort out the worlds, so if you're only going through free to play worlds, all you have to do is click on the little arrow on the top left of the world selector until you see world 301. As you can see, you will see all silver stars. Once you have reached to the point where you see gold stars, which is members worlds, then scroll back to the top and start again from world 301 and repeat. The next tip is a little bit strange, but it is optional and it is worth trying out, and that is to alch the gold necklace outside the gates. Now as you can see in the corner there is a gold necklace spawn, which you can make a small amount of profit each one you alch. Now I did try this for an hour just to compare, and you are making around the 200k mark, but this is not as good as alching the steel plate bodies on its own, as there is too much running around and my run energy was draining constantly, so I do suppose I've saved you guys from trying out this method yourself. And the last tip is for people who want to try this out as a member. So once you have finished the hour or however many hours you want to try this out, normally for free to play players you'll have to run all the way around the maze etc, but the trick is to quickly switch to a members world and jump the shortcut, which is level 82 agility, but if you've got that level, jump the stepping stones and run towards the KBD layer and teleport out. So I'm almost at the hour mark now guys, and if I can give some downsides to this method, it would be 1, the botting. Now I have heard from people that bots tend to be in this area, and there was times when I was hopping worlds for quite a while just because there was no plate bodies on the floor. It could be a genuine player trying to make some GP, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was bots as well. One other downside to this method is that it's in the wilderness, and it is quite annoying to get to if you are a free to play player, but I suppose if you could do this in a safe area this would be heavily botted, plus you are making quite a lot of GP per hour, so it kind of explains why this method is in the deep wilderness. But on the plus side you can make a very good amount of GP per hour, which will help out new players a lot. This is a very easy method, and pretty much all you have to do is keep an eye out for potential PKers. It is quite rare these days to find players in free to play worlds, but you never know. I did bump into a couple of people along the way, but luckily nothing happened. Now I'm not sure how many of these free to play money makers I'm going to be doing until I end up going back to members money makers, but I think I will be doing a few more, and then I will alternate between the two just to switch it up a little bit. And if you've got any free to play suggestions, let me know in the comment section below. Okay, so that is the end of the hour now, guys, so let's price check all the steel plate bodies that I have out and see how much profit I have made. Okay, so here is all the steel plate bodies that I've out within an hour, and I've out 234 out of the recommended 240, and considering I couldn't get the steel plate bodies in every world, I think I've done pretty well. So let's price check this, and I've made 280k and 800 GP. That is really good, and I also gained 15.2k magic XP within the hour as well. Now let's minus all the supplies which I used, and that was 234 nature runes, which was 45.1k. So my total profit comes to 235k, 638 GP. So really pleased with that. Now this is a lot of GP as it's a free to play moneymaker, and this will really help out new players buy some combat gear or level up some skills using the profits from this method. Now let's go back to the OSRS Wiki, and it mentions you can make 241k and 680 GP profit per hour, alching 240 steel plate bodies. I would have alked a little bit more than what the wiki mentions, but considering I couldn't get the steel plate bodies in every world, I think I done pretty well. So an accurate moneymaker and a profitable one as well with minimal effort. This is worth doing if you want fast GP and XP per hour. There is better moneymakers out there, but as this is free to play, it's not too bad at all. Now these moneymakers are really underrated as people don't really try them out, and people may think the GP per hour is really bad, but as you have seen on this video and my most recent videos, you can make a nice amount of profit spending minimal in supplies and requiring no effort whatsoever, especially with this moneymaker. So that is the end of the video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, smash that like button, comment below and let me know what you think about this moneymaker, and of course subscribe to the channel if you are new for more old school RuneScape money making videos. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.